And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fornelli. That's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson, coming to you live at youtube.com/cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 tailgate, where they are either celebrating or mourning the situation that we might be in. Yes, we are live 11:34 p.m. Eastern Time. We are in the literal final moments of SMU's efforts to avoid disaster. It seemed as though they had stormed back from a double-digit deficit against Cal, only to have that lead then taken away again. And Tom is making a face. Dictate to me, Tom. Dictate.
That was nearly picked off by Cal, but there's a flag. I don't know what it is. It might be a holding. This thing might be done. Let's see what the flag is here. Brett Lashley does not look pleased.
Garrett, in our resident Texas A&M fan in the tailgate, says we should only talk about Saturday's games. Denied, Garrett. Denied. We're talking about the whole daggum weekend. This is the Week 14 instant reaction. Lots to be able to peel through right now. Again, the ACC and SMU and all of the chaos that is unfolding right there. Bud, take it. What do you see?
They got 8 seconds left. You could try to throw a little out here and then not try to kick a 52-yard attempt. Cal might have just bailed him out with a timeout. With 8 seconds, you could try to throw a little quick
throw a quick out
and get rid of it. Yeah, if it's me, I'm trying to throw a little quickie here and get out of bounds. 52 is a big field goal in the Bay Area at night. That's got to be cold, right?
There's a lot of things I can do in 8 seconds.
Well, apparently not to a bathroom break. Danny showed us you need a full radio bathroom break. Apparently these Cover 3 mid rolls ain't long enough, as we found out. Man,
oh my God!
Yeah, so much to get to. We've got we've got that unfolding right now. We've got to peel through. I mean, we still don't have an answer about Lane Kiffin. There's a lot to be able to dig into right now. While SMU and Cal are concluding the final stages there. Can we go to Jordan-Hare Stadium? Because, Tom, did you think that Alabama played down? Do you think Auburn met the moment? How do you go through? How did you feel at 20-20? Because here's the thing is, you can't talk to me now after I saw an 8-minute drive where they made all the tough calls and they made all the tough plays, right? I walk out of today saying, you know what? Alabama just got put in a tough spot, and they found a way to win. We can have things that we can nitpick about the performance, but was that Alabama playing down? Was that Auburn rising up? How did you find yourself evaluating that game as it unfolded?
First of all, it will be Duke and Virginia in the ACC championship game. You know what, Chip? I threw out the record books. When it comes to a rivalry game, anything is possible. When it comes to the Iron Bowl, anything is possible. So when Auburn was tied 20-20 with Alabama, I was crapping my pants because I didn't think when it was 17-0, I felt like whether you threw out the record books or not, this game was certainly going in one direction. So yeah, I was very much surprised by Auburn being able to work their way back into the game. Not that defensively they were able to slow Alabama down, because that's what Auburn's done to everybody this year. They've got a very good defense. It was just the fact that their offense was able to finally start maneuvering and moving the ball and putting points on the board. If you look at the box score, this is kind of not the same thing, but it's kind of a bizarro Oklahoma game in Alabama, because Auburn outgained Alabama by quite a bit. It's just the 2 turnovers killed them. And they fumbled the ball 4 times and only lost one of them. So it was not exactly what I would consider a clean performance. It was not exactly an impressive performance, but they made enough plays offensively to get back into it. And Alabama just, Ty Simpson did not look great. He threw the 3 touchdowns, but he was being harassed all night. And he made a couple of good throws, but he made some really bad ones and some strange decisions. But, they got away with it.
When you watch this thing, it felt like Bama got up 17-0 and figured they would just cruise. Auburn hits 2 65-yard pass plays on the night, which is a tremendous percentage of what their pass game was. And at one point, their other 29 passes they had thrown went for 87 total yards. it was one of those things like, I feel like Bama's fine here. Like this is confirmation bias by me. I thought they would jump out and kill them. Right. And ultimately, they obviously didn't kill them. Right. Like they jumped on them early. Auburn hits those explosives and all of a sudden it's a game. Like Bama run game was going well, but their pass game, like they consistently had issues with the blitz pickup. Like it was notable when Bama finally picked one up there. When they had the late hit, low hit, I guess, on Simpson. I mean, I don't know if there was a bailout call or not. It's probably like it. I guess by the rule, sure. I don't know. We need to protect college quarterbacks like we do NFL quarterbacks. Like they're not quite the same level of investment. I'm rambling here. Sorry, but like looking at that, I felt like their blitz pickup issues that they had against LSU, that they had against Oklahoma, they continued, right? So maybe they get that cleaned up by the time they play Georgia, because Georgia certainly had to blitz them quite a bit. Because like they don't have much of a pass rush from the down four. But like, yeah, agreed. Like the drive that they had to go win the damn thing was pretty impressive. And I thought even on that drive, like Auburn played really hard. Like I thought Bama got to some creative stuff, and Auburn matched it, and ultimately like just better players won out there in the end. But they didn't look dominant, certainly not for 60 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not like a perfect metric. But there is like a concern here. Like if you look at Ty Simpson on the year, he's got a passer efficiency rating of 154.8. This was the 5th straight game in which he has not beaten 136 in his passer rating. Like he's been kind of shaky for a month now. And their entire operation has been shaky for a month now. So you look at where they are, they won, they survived, but now they're going to Atlanta where they're going to be playing Georgia in the SEC championship. And it's just, I mean, I guess you could argue the run game was probably, considering how it had been performing and considering the defense they were facing, getting 4.2 per carry and 158 yards total, you might feel like, all right, that's a step forward. That's a good sign. But I have questions and concerns about this passing offense and this offense in general going into Georgia next week.
Ty Simpson got rocked in this game.
Yeah.
And to your point about the calls, sorry, Auburn, you're sending a lot of bodies at Ty Simpson. It's your game plan, and I don't disagree with that as your stated game plan. But if you're literally letting the big cats loose, all the time, then yeah, eventually it might end up costing you in terms of a roughing the passer penalty. I mean, how about the one where Ty Simpson was running towards the goal line and he just gets
smoked,
knocked out of bounds, and then the play comes back because of an Isaiah Horton hold?
Mm-hmm.
Which, to me, that's on Simpson for cutting that outside.
Oh, okay.
Like there's no way that Simpson or that Horton with his leverage is anticipating that Simpson's going to cut that to like the 2.5 yard gap that he had there between that and the pylon. Like I think if you're watching Simpson or Horton on that play, that's just, you don't expect a receiver to go ahead and just maintain that leverage to the side. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that was more on Simpson. Like, dude, just you got the first down, barrel in there, and if you get it, you get it. If not, it's still a first. That almost cost him.
I mean,
I didn't say by committing that hold, Horton did set up his 3rd touchdown catch of the night. So stay woke.
He did.
He's gassing the numbers for all the NIL stat stuffing. Yeah, my thought was not necessarily to assign blame. I was like, well, that sucks that Ty just got rocked again and it didn't even count. Like it was just, it made me think you're talking about some of the schematic things and the warning signs. I was just like, man, these are a lot of heavy hits when you're about to have to go play Georgia and Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia Tech did not lack for physicality. We could spend some time on that or not, a little bit later on, but that's an extra day of rest. That game moved pretty quick. It's going to be a lot for the Crimson Tide to reload the musket as they prepare for the SEC championship game.
Although Georgia was not without injury
in the game,
in that win over Tech. Yeah, they had. I need to see like who's going to be probable or whatever, but like they had a lot of guys go down.
I mean, guys, does winning the SEC even mean anything anymore?
All right, so like off rip, if Bama wins the SEC, they're getting a bye, right?
Yes.
Because I floated this take out on Twitter, and people are like, "You're nuts." I'm like, how would they not?
Read the room.
I know it's Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and Alabama. Let's hit the magic bullet points here. It was an Alabama football conversation involving the college football playoff on Twitter. That's a triple play.
Engagement.
Yeah, you're not who knows what you're going to get, but it's going to be a lot either way.
You're going to get some dumbass egg with a name and like 17 numbers after it saying you're an idiot.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the SEC champion, it is really, really tough, especially if the SEC championship game is between Alabama and Georgia. Yeah, I'm sorry. That team, that the winner of that game is going to have a top 4 seed. I mean, the 1-2,
even the picks were crazy. This is wild. Like for thinking that if Bama beats Georgia again, that they're getting a bye.
We're idiots to think that the SEC champion won't get a bye. We're the idiots.
Right, apparently.
Thank goodness Ole Miss is not in this SEC championship game.
Oh, my God.
Hold on, real quick. Anything else football-wise about Iron Bowl that we want to make sure we hit or get to?
Like the run game was kind of a positive. I agree. Simpson's taking a lot of shots. Like the amount of pressure that they have in on him is a ton. I know the broadcast constantly talked about where was Ryan Williams. Again, I kind of echo those thoughts. I don't have like a conspiracy theory take on that one. But like Bernard was obviously not, there. So
Brailsford was in and out of the lineup too.
He's a good player, man. Like really nice player. So
I mean, clearly
that
he's
certainly
not
matters.
100%. If he's, having to like go out, right guard kicks in, then he comes back in. I mean, they're holding it together as best they can. Everybody's a little bit hurt. All right. I thought we'd have an answer. It's 11:45. We're not getting one tonight,
You're
right?
An idiot. You're an idiot if you thought we were ever going to have an answer.
I was debating whether we would go like live at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. And then after about 9 to 10 p.m., I was like, well, sorry, Lane. You might not get your own sirens, but you know what? Maybe he will. After all, what do we do with this?
He's going to LSU.
Okay.
Like there's a whole lot of excuses for why they haven't announced it. I don't know. I feel like Lane is just hoping Ole Miss does it for him.
Yes.
So that way he could, you know what? Whatever. I've got a lot of thoughts about this. I'm not going to really share on here, but I just do feel like this is, for somebody who is supposedly matured a lot, this is still very childish behavior. Just being afraid to make the decision, or at least announce it. He's made the decision. He just doesn't want to say it yet. And then to sit there and be like, well, can I still coach the team? And try to negotiate that. And then also try to negotiate, based on the reports we're hearing, if he could take the staff with him to LSU. It's a really, really tricky situation. And I understand that. And I understand that it's not an easy one to make for him, but it's also a situation he's put himself in. So I'm not going to really have too much sympathy for him. It's just, if you're going to leave Ole Miss and take the LSU job, just freaking do it, man. Stop yanking everybody around. Just get it done. Rip the damn Band-Aid off. Be an adult.
Are we even sure the whole staff wants to go to LSU?
No.
Because, I'm not saying Pete Golding will have a chance to get that job, but also, guys done a pretty good job there with that defense. It's not like Ole Miss recruits high school all that well as far as, having a bunch of these 5-star D linemen. If he was to take that Ole Miss team, I know he wouldn't be I know people think Joe Judge would be the kind of like the de facto head coach because Golding's calling the defense still, and I get that, but do we know he wouldn't get that job? Like if Summerall takes Florida, is Ole Miss going to go hire Galesh over the in-house guy? I don't know.
And now here to make his announcement live on the Cover 3 podcast, we've got Lane Kiffin. Lane. Oh man, crap, he didn't show up. Oh, he had him. Thought he had him.
I'm here. Marty Smith tells me the decision's imminent for the 19th time in the last 20 hours.
Yeah, I did get a huge kick out of the game day crew saying that Kiffin should be able to coach the playoff game when Saban literally fired Kiffin over this same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
What is the one thread that really ties Kiffin and everybody on that desk together? Huh.
I don't know.
I can't figure it out.
Anything football related from the Egg Bowl to be able to take out of that?
Look, Mississippi State played hard. They just don't have the front 7 players to really make it matter. They couldn't get enough pressure on Chambliss let Chambliss make some nice throws. Receivers made some big time catches, and they ran the ball pretty well. Like like we talked about it all week. Like we understood why the spread was what it was, but this Mississippi State team that got pounded down the stretch by anybody with a half decent run game because their front seven just fell apart with injuries.
And Ole Miss with Kewan Lacey and Chambliss' ability to run certainly satisfies all of those requirements.
And that honestly, it makes me even madder in that Ole Miss, in all realistic respects, has just had the best season it's had of the modern era. Like, you have to go back a long time to find the last time Ole Miss had this much success. And there's a ton of great stories with this team. You think of Trinidad Chambliss, who comes from Ferris State, who was not even the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. Austin Simmons was, the prince who was promised, the guy who was going to be great, the Jackson Dart inheritor. And he gets hurt, or he just didn't play all that well, and Chambliss takes over, and Chambliss balls out. And you've got a great story where this team is able to go 11-1, and the only damn thing anybody's talking about is the coach wants to leave him, because that's what the coach has done. He's completely taken all the joy out of this season. If you're Ole Miss, if you're a Rebels fan, do you even want him back at this point?
There's a chance that he is coaching the playoff game, and they are at home.
He's not coaching the playoff game. There's no way in hell, Chip.
They're not going to let him do that.
Is Ohio State going to let Ryan Day coach them in the playoff if he leaves for Michigan?
That's a great point.
No. You want them to go into the playoff while Lane Kiffin is trying to put a staff together at LSU and get that team together ready for next year, while also maybe poaching some coaches from the current staff he's on. You think that guy's going to be 100% bought into leading you in a damn playoff game? Hell no. He hasn't been 100% bought into you for 3 weeks now.
Even if he was, it's a terrible look for your program.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't say that he should.
You said there's a chance. There is no chance he's coaching.
I agree with Tom on this.
Okay.
I think that collectively we called this right. Like, Ole Miss was not going to force him into making a decision before the Egg Bowl, and they didn't. Or at least if he did make one before the Egg Bowl, he didn't announce it, right? But we did say, like, the playoffs is kind of that hard line you got to draw. Or I guess in theory, the SEC title game, but they're not going there.
So with everybody seeming to agree that he's off to LSU, the only thing that is left is,
although if LSU flies these planes in tomorrow, as Dellinger reported, and they go back empty, we're gonna have another Lane Kiffin tarmac moment.
Yeah,
I think that how about this? Like, quick thought exercise, then we'll get back to football. If we are dealing with someone who is taking Tom, I'm going to use sort of your descriptor here, a childish approach to this. I want everything, and I don't want any responsibility. I want all of the credit and none of the.
I don't want it to be my fault. Yeah.
Yes, right. To do that would be to ask to continue with your current team that you've worked so hard to lead all the way to this point, and then be able to see it all the way out. You are asking Ole Miss then to stand up and be sensible. I'm saying, as this continues, and as we continue to not have finality here, the more my mind is entertaining, holy crap, they really might let him do this. That is why I say chance here at almost midnight on Saturday night.
No.
Then saner minds will have prevailed.
Yeah, there are actual adults in the room.
Are there?
Not the one leaving for LSU.
Okay. If he tarmacs LSU.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Oh, my goodness.
Although, I picture a scene where Lane lands in Baton Rouge, comes off the plane, meets some reporters who ask him about taking the LSU job, and he's like, I still haven't made my decision yet.
He might not
go look at some houses.
What if it's Tuesday?
Anyway, let's move on to games. Lane Kiffin has gotten far too much oxygen from us and from everybody in general the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Agreed.
We'll do a little palate cleanser. Coming up on the other side, how good must it have felt in their house, and so lopsided that Brutus was out there tap dancing Script, Ohio in the snow. It was incredible. Ohio State's big win against Michigan. Oregon closes out an 11-win regular season, and more next. back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Well, Ohio State got it done. They went into Ann Arbor. They came out with the win. It was very businesslike in its approach, especially in the second half. They dominated the Wolverines. They pulled away for the victory. Things were very tight early. Obviously, you've got the Jeremiah Smith touchdown on the fourth down, which kind of opened things up. And then once you started to get Michigan a little one-dimensional, once Michigan had to start chasing the game, well, the Buckeyes had certainly done their part. But what were some of the aspects of this that really stood out to you as Ohio State finishes? And I want to make sure we celebrate this because not all teams who were 11-0 made it to 12-0, but Ohio State was one of them. So as Ohio State closes out a 12-0 regular season.
So Michigan had 105 yards on 4 plays. And their other 38 plays went for 55. So early on, Michigan popped a couple nice explosive runs. They had one pass that was decent. And then the Buckeyes just basically allowed 0. So it's just a continuation of that defense. Like, nice job popping some explosive runs, if I got the math right on this. And Chip's looking at it with kind of a different eye here. So I'm thinking maybe I messed up these stats, but maybe I didn't. There we go. Yeah. So if you go to big plays, they basically had four big plays for 105, and then the rest of them went for, 55.
Didn't we talk about that in Big Game Breakdown, Bud? That's exactly what Michigan does.
Right.
The Justice Haynes run. I mean, it's just like all year long, they've been setting themselves up to try and hit a couple of those explosive plays. But it's just they're not built to dominate anybody on a down-to-down level offensively.
Ohio State sees better receiver play from their second stringers in practice on a daily basis than what Michigan rolls out there, as far as like the totality. Obviously, like we know the freshman's good, but like the rest of those guys are kind of whatever. They're fine. Pretty good argument that Michigan needs to go splash the pot in the transfer portal this offseason to get Bryce some better receivers. Pretty good pressure on Underwood most of the day. I thought Ohio State, like, they were pretty physical with the run game. Saying calm down, hit some shots. Receivers played good, made good plays. They're just a better team, and they took a little while to settle into it, but they didn't look like, to me, they didn't look crazy rattled. I didn't feel like, oh, this is unraveling. It felt like, oh, okay, this is like annoying for them for a little bit, but it just felt different to me. I don't know, maybe I'm having the benefit of hindsight on this because the game was 12 hours ago now, but like, I don't know. Did you guys feel like they were ever truly in danger?
No.
Okay.
No, and they got off to the great start. Okay, there was the big run by Marshall on the very first play of the game to get him into Ohio State territory.
The pick.
And yeah, the pick. But I'm saying then they had to settle for a field goal.
Yeah.
Then they get the pick. And then with a chance, with like a 4th and goal situation, I can't remember what yard line they were at. Let's see. It was a 25-yard field goal, so they were like the 7 or 8. So with a chance after that pick to really kind of seal all that momentum, you could have gone for a touchdown. But instead, you kick the field goal. So you're letting them off the hook because they were already down a score. And now they're still down a score. They're freaking Ohio State. It's not going to be that hard for them to get a touchdown and take the lead. Now, you held it for a little while because then Ohio State kind of followed suit and kicked a short field goal themselves. Because I do think that after Julian Sayin threw that interception, Ryan Day kind of snuck back into the Ryan Day versus Michigan kind of mindset where he got ultra conservative because, like, Ohio State, very first play from the game on offense, throw deep, incomplete, but they took a deep shot. Then they come out in that second drive and they're throwing again, and that's when the pick happens. And then it was just suddenly hand it off. And then when they get to that 4th and goal from the 6 after the delay game, Ryan Day quickly sent the field goal team out there to make it 6-3. But I just think overall, Ohio State, when you have that defense and you have those guys on offense, you can afford to be a little conservative over time, especially when you're that confident. If I'm Michigan and I want to win that game, I can't be. I'm not going to beat Ohio State with field goals. Okay, it's pretty clear to me. So I thought that was a big deal. And I also think, honestly, the biggest separation in this game was that Michigan has a quarterback who might be great one day, and Ohio State has one that already is. And you saw that in the way that they treated it too, because once Ryan Day got out of his like conservative funk there, he just started letting his guy air it out again. And what do you know? Like, we have great receivers and a quarterback who can get them the ball against this defense, which is good. But as I was saying all week, it's not the same Michigan defense that we've seen the last few years. Most of the really good elite dudes are gone. There's still some good players left. It's just not the same unit overall. And we saw Ohio State take advantage of that. And Michigan offensively still doesn't have enough dudes, and they're dealing with injuries, which isn't helping. But Marsh has been fantastic for them all season long. He really strikes me as a guy that's going to be special for them. But you know how many catches he had? You know how many catches he had?
I think
because Ohio State has NFL defensive backs.
Yeah,
they can take him away, and they did that. And Michigan had no counter.
No, it was only hope for a PI.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers were not getting open in this game.
Like
it was.
Ohio State continues to be the only team, like the power ratings see this, but like we see it on the field every week as well. Like they continue to be the only team that is clearly a field goal better than everybody else.
Yes. We ran those
and like
numbers.
In prior years, they might have been a touchdown better than everybody else, right? But like the sport is more compressed now.
And if you're to game it out again, like just trying to take what we see with what we see on the field with what we see in terms of the data, there's you got to factor in the way that they're going to coach it, which, maybe if it was a video game, they could beat teams by more, but they did exactly what they needed to do today. And it was just rocking chair for a lot of that second half. So congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes, #1 team in America. And with the win, locked up their spot in the Big Ten championship game, as first reported by Tom Fornelli on the Cover 3 podcast after he ran his numbers
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, his proprietary formula, the Tom Fornelli Big Ten title game predictor, sponsored by Tom Fornelli, told you it was going to be Ohio State. It was my metrics. Told you it was going to be Ohio State and Indiana. Indiana, by the way, got themselves in a real tough one on Friday night.
I mean,
golly.
Kurt Signetti is a man who understands how rivalries work, and then you've got the chance to absolutely embarrass your rival. Embarrass him. So it's like, he did it to Ryan. He got Ryan. I mean, I think Ryan might have been fired either way, but he definitely helped Ryan Walters get fired last year. And then this year he's like, hey, Barry, welcome to the old Oak and Bucket game. I'm just going to drop 50 on you real quick.
I have no notes football-wise from this game. I feel like it was a more productive conversation for us to get just real quick. We're going to spend a lot of time this week talking about it. We'll get 12-0 Ohio State, 12-0 Indiana. What are the first things that pop off when you start thinking about the matchup?
How much pressure can Indiana get on Ohio State? Like, can they figure out a way to bust their protections? Can somebody finally get open against Ohio State's defense consistently? Like Mendoza's the arm and like the smarts to hit him. Just get like, Cooper and Surratt are those guys. Are they up to the task? Like that's going to be a really interesting challenge there. Like how much run game can they really get going? I mean, look, Michigan popped a couple explosives. It's basically all they did. But this is the toughest test they'll have faced so far this year. So like I'm really looking forward to watching this.
Same. I'm happy they actually get to play.
18-team conference. We actually get these two teams playing each other. It's amazing.
It's wild.
Oh, it's in the championship game. Well, thank God. Not every conference can say that. I think that it is going to be shocker from the vibes department. The Indiana Hoosiers are playing in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis. And I understand that I've said this before, I understand Ohio State makes everywhere a somewhat friendly environment. And I know that every time the game is played, fans, obviously, there's a lot of red in that stadium. Like the red pops, especially, when they're playing at Michigan. So I know that Ohio State fans will be there too. Well, buddy, this is a moment for Hoosier football. Fernando Mendoza out there talking about how Pat Coogan stood up in the locker room at halftime, giving them a pump-up speech, calling them the team of misfits, making history. We'll see. I think the environment inside that building, people decry conference championship games. What are they even worth? Why do we even still have them? Let's get rid of them. I predict that the environment inside that building is going to be raucous for 1v2 on Saturday night. Even though both teams are a lock for the college football playoff and the loser could absolutely go and accomplish something that the winner wants, I think that that's going to be a really fun conference championship game.
Ohio State currently a 5.5-point favorite at FanDuel, by the way.
Fair.
What does that close at?
I think it closes closer to 3 than 7.
Were you thinking movement the other way?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll get over 7.
No. But like Bama closed what, like 7 minus 05 after being like 5, 4.5, 5.5 the whole week.
I didn't know it ran out like that, but I mean, it's Ohio State. Ohio State football, Kentucky basketball, it's like.
I think it'll probably close at like 6.5 juice.
Yep.
People will take the 7 if it hits 7. People lay the 6, 5.5.
Or just go ahead and take that 6, take that 5.5. Actually, I hope it gets to 4, so I can take the 4 too.
The only thing Chip's concerned about is the third quarter number.
Yeah, come on. No, the fourth quarter for Indiana. Ohio State for the third quarter, Indiana for the fourth quarter. That's how we do it.
Does the Cash App trophy extend to championship week or not?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Championship week has always been the final.
Yeah, no, Bud, you might be in the lead after this week. I haven't done the numbers yet.
We'll
I think Chip rebounded after a tough morning, but we might have some. It might be a race down to the end.
Yeah,
I'm racing Danny for third.
I'm either going to be 5-5 or 6-4, depending on if Stanford wants to.
They're making a game of this, Chip.
Hey, we're on the board. Hey, we're on the board. Oregon, the Oregon Ducks had. I had different feelings during the game. Early on, I was like, "Hell yeah, Oregon!" That's how you go into a tough spot. You're still shorthanded, and your defense is coming up with some big plays. But then it couldn't quite pull away. Washington makes a little bit of a game of it. So I'm kind of bouncing around, trying to throw it back in, make sure I don't lose sight of everything. Tom, what'd you get from Oregon? Is this just like hey, you know what, like solid road win into the season? Or did you feel like you learned anything that's different from what we've seen from the Ducks recently as they've continued to be in this, down multiple skill position players? I thought it was a good Dante Moore game, like really relying on hit like that. Bud's boy, Malik Benson, he might only have straight line speed.
We got to give that guy some credit, man. He's making some catches now.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
Like you got to give that guy some serious credit because he flat out sucked at Bama and Florida State. And, you might say he had Jalen Milroe and a hurt DJU throwing the ball. Now that might be a great point too, but like, Oregon's getting some out of this guy, like when they really need it. So, like hats off to Benson, man. Like that guy's playing so much
had
better.
Another catch or two that were that felt big. Just like
he had one robbed from him that should have been a catch.
Oh
yeah,
gosh,
catch of the century.
Shout out to Gary Danielson. That's the best catch I've ever seen. It's not a catch.
I thought that like the best thing that Oregon did today was they just kept the lid on Washington's like explosive passing attack, right? They had one pass over 20 yards the entire day. They're like, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to earn it in the red zone. They just couldn't do it often enough.
Yeah, they were willing to give Washington room to run it a little bit just to focus to take away the deep ball. And I mean, yeah, if you look at like Washington's receivers, like Denzel Boston had 2 touchdowns, but he was 4 for 25. Like there weren't really the big plays. I will say the one thing Washington did that I was impressed by is like, because you mentioned, Corey Moore wasn't playing, Gary Bryant wasn't playing. So they were like, all right, well, we're going to take away Sadiq and we're going to see if you can beat us with the other guys. And like Malik Benson had that 64-yard touchdown where he caught like the deep end and then just took off. But they did take Sadiq out of the game. He had 4 catches for 11 yards. So that was an impressive job by them. It's just, I think Oregon was too good defensively. And like they just made enough plays on offense to win that game. I do not think that was a great performance from the Ducks on offense, but it's tough to go into that stadium and play hard and win. I mean, even Ohio State only put up 24 on the Huskies in Husky Stadium. So it's not a performance to be ashamed of. It just wasn't their best one, and they still won comfortably. Like, I never really felt like Washington was seriously threatening, even after that Boston touchdown in the fourth quarter to cut it to one score.
I mean, look, you could say Sadiq had multiple drops, and he did, but even if he catches those, he's going like what, 8 instead of 8 targets for 11, he's got 8 targets for like 40, like 5 yards a target from the guy who's right now probably your best threat. Like, that's still a pretty good job by Washington.
Job, yeah.
That's why Jamari Johnson ends up getting a couple looks, because Sadiq's been taken, kind of isolated a little bit. Others that also ended up getting in on that. So Jonah Coleman's not healthy too. It was a good Muhammad game, and we talked about that. He had played well the week before too. So tough loss for Washington, but for Oregon, a hearty congratulations for the Ducks. 11-1 in the regular season, not in the Big Ten title game, but certainly a very, very. You're 11-1, and your only loss was to Indiana. Like, this has been a really good season for Dan Lanning in his second year of Big Ten membership.
And also,
go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, not being in the conference title game might not be the worst thing for this team, because they are banged up. Yeah. So you get the extra week to recover, get guys healthy, and you do get the home playoff game. And there are very few places I want to go on the road to play somebody in a playoff game, less than Watson Stadium.
I mean, I do think it's really impressive what they did to Iowa, USC, and Washington down the stretch without all these guys. Like, if they get those dudes back, that's like a real team that can go win it.
I think this Dan Lanning guy might be a good football coach.
He could be.
Has anybody thought about maybe him being a name to watch in this industry?
I don't think it's really an option for other teams. Like,
I was somebody should pick up the phone and call that guy. Is he available?
His name's going to come up, right? But they're just worried about what's going on in that room, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, great. What? Go ahead.
Stanford is doing a thing where they like call timeouts, try to like maintain a drive. They blew it, and then Notre Dame drove right down the field, so they got 1st and 10, like the 15.
Well, 35-3. That's still a 32-point lead, so you're technically
we're still covered, baby.
All right, so Oregon in, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we don't need to play the playoff game through the episode.
And a home game, right?
And a home game. I'm with Tom. Tom mentioned that earlier. Yeah. I will throw my support behind that as well. What do we do with the Oklahoma Sooners?
I think they're in.
No, they are 100% in, and they should be in. It's their resume. No, you can't take them out. That resume is too strong compared to the people that they're competing against. It's just none of us.
I'm talking about the 8-9 decision. I'm talking about where they fall on this seed line and how we're feeling about the Sooners hosting a playoff game.
I think that they have a very good shot to get a home game because of that resume, man. They've got wins that these other teams they're up against don't have.
So their loss to Texas looks better. Their win over Michigan looks worse. Their win over Auburn looks worse. It might come down to the SEC title game. If you have a win over the SEC champ, then maybe they get the home game.
I could be wrong, and I appreciate your thoroughness, but I don't think that they follow it. I don't think they follow it that far. Like, I don't think they actually do here are all of the results. Now let's go see what all of those teams did and then come up with like a total sum of what that total impact is. I just think they're like very surface level. Best win, worst law. Just like, we're only taking the very simple stuff that we can grab and then just shuffling it along the way. But if the Duke Blue Devils, if the Duke Blue Devils win the ACC, they might not even make the playoff. But like, there's a potential for some truly tough watches making it to the first round of this college football playoff. And just in terms of aesthetics, like the style, like what we would be selling to the sporting audience for this being the fine competition for the national championship, because the current state of Oklahoma football can be a very tough sell to someone who is not totally in to that brand of football.
Yeah. It's not pretty. It's not exciting, but damn it if it doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
But we mentioned it. It's just the way that they play, the way Mateer is. Like they can beat anybody when they're playing well. It's just they also have that ability to play so poorly within a game that they keep everybody in it at the same time. Like anybody can beat this team if they don't play well enough. If Mateer makes those mistakes and the offense just struggles, they're very boring chaos in a way, like ugly, disgusting chaos.
More than happy to just wait for the 50 to 75 yard Satania touchdown.
Yeah, you just if they hit it, you're screwed. If they don't, you've got a fighting chance.
Yeah. Like, would you rather like Oklahoma? Do you think Oklahoma just strip out resumes? Oh crap! I guess that's just gonna be power rating. That might give you an answer. Well, actually, I don't know. You two both. Is Oklahoma far from Vanderbilt in your own personal power ratings?
No.
They're very different teams, but all in the wash. I was wondering, I was like, do they come out to being pretty similar teams?
Yeah. I mean, like there's so many teams like past Ohio State that are real similar who can beat like anybody else on a given day.
They play different styles, but overall they're very similar. Let's see. I'm looking at mine right now.
Because Oklahoma
is favored by 0.86.
Oklahoma is in the college football playoff. Vanderbilt might be
very likely not.
Very likely not.
I don't think.
Both with 10-2 records. Vanderbilt lacking in the high quality wins that Oklahoma does have. That's probably the difference, the differentiator there. But still, 10-win regular season for the Commodores. Or anything else on the Sooners and LSU?
I mean, look, that defense is awesome, and the offense is awful. So any game is winnable. Every game is losable.
That's the fun of it. Come on down, Brent Venables. You did it. Did y'all get eyes on Vandy, Tennessee?
Yeah,
I did.
What'd you think?
Vandy doing the Vandy thing.
Yeah, I mean, like Pavia starts out awful. I mean,
red zone red zone turnovers. We're doing all the checklist.
It's Alabama all over again. Yep.
Yeah, we're doing everything that we can do to blow this opportunity. And then
Pavia made some absolute dime throws. I thought Beck did a great job of scheming up some stuff to exploit like maybe some of the undisciplined play from Tennessee on the backside of some of those run fits, and they spit a couple out. They hit a couple of explosives. Pavia has that one really long run that like they had a couple plays where Tennessee had him sacked that he just worked some magic on, and that was fantastic. And like their defense they didn't play amazing, but they played well enough, right?
And like we've mentioned it, like this Tennessee defense is not nearly as good as it was. I mean, this is a team that they gave up the 44 to Georgia, but they also gave up 34 to Mississippi State. They gave up 37 to an Alabama offense that hasn't exactly been incredible. They gave up 34 to freaking Kentucky. Like this is a team that has showed they're going to give up some points. So the fact that they weren't really able to get stops against Vanderbilt didn't come as too much of a surprise. Because Vanderbilt had good offense.
The chat saying, when do we start asking about Heupel? They had like one of the best teams in the country the year that the quarterback gets hurt there like super late, right? They made the playoff last year. This year was an obvious, like go back and watch summer school, right? We had the guys on from Vols 247. Like it's not a rebuild year, but it's kind of like a, reset type of year.
Damn, I don't know why you're bringing sense to a hot seat conversation with the Tennessee fan base. They don't have a win over an FBS team with a winning record.
No, they don't. Neither does Missouri.
It's true.
Although I think Missouri, I don't know if Missouri will be ranked next week. I do question whether Tennessee still will be.
And we'll let you know what we think in terms of the AP Top 25 a little bit later in the show in tomorrow's Top 25.
I have a question for you, although it's really not a question. It's just a statement of fact. Did you know that Nico was 1-0 against Vanderbilt? Makes you think.
If Aguilar gets the extra year, like if the injunction goes in their favor, do they want him back?
No.
I don't think so either.
I think they'd gladly take him back, but I don't think they're going to just hand him the job.
I think they would go shopping in the portal. Like if there ain't no chance he's starting for them next year, in my opinion.
No, like they'll tell them, if you want to come back, you can come back, but we're also going after competition for you, and you can have a chance to compete.
Like, you're here because we were desperate with a really weird situation. Like, you're not a upper half of the SEC quality starter.
The other piece about this, a term that I've used here before, and I credit Gary Parrish on College Basketball Podcast. He talked about it with John Calipari near the end of his Kentucky time. It was like, is it hot seat? He'd be like, no, it's not really hot seat because Kentucky ain't firing John right now. But what it is it's real job pressure. It means that you wake up in the morning and every second of your existence is like, oh my gosh, they are furious at me right now. And I do think that Josh Heupel could enter next season with a little bit of job pressure. I think that there have been some big game defeats over the last 2 years. Like, I would include even though Ohio State won the national championship, the buzz that Tennessee had going into that game, and then the way that they got dog walked in that game, I think was like, throw it on the list of the defeats that, they don't look bad when you're looking at the Wikipedia grid and we're just chalking up all the wins and losses. But in the emotions of fans and boosters and people of that nature, I think there have been some big game losses for Josh Heupel that probably sparked that conversation from the tailgate.
So in the 14 years before Heupel got there, where do you think an 8-4 regular season record would rank for the Vols?
Tied for first.
That's correct.
Because Butch did it, but he'd win the bowl game to go get to 9-4. Then show up number 23 in next year's preseason top 25 just because he was 9-4 with a Capital One Bowl win.
Brick after brick, baby.
God.
Yeah, I mean, they were 11-2, 9-4, 10-3 a playoff team, and 8-4. I don't know. I think he's doing a fantastic job there overall.
Me too. But the SEC, it just means more. Every game is a must win. The pressure is just different. You wouldn't understand unless you live in it.
But by the way, brick by brick, Red Wolves went into Boone and did some disrespectful stuff. It was a bowl or bust
Chased
game.
you right out the mountains.
I did not get eyes on that one, actually. Did you watch
Chip was in the mountains. He saw Butch was coming, and he got the hell out of town.
Yeah, 30-29. Arkansas State gets to 6-6. Dow Loggins Mountaineers fall to 5-7. Woo, tough scenes. Tough scenes there in the high country of North Carolina. All right, let's see. We got a little Oklahoma, got a little Vanderbilt. What'd you make of the Miami Hurricanes?
Better than Pitt.
Pitt has played either 2 or 3, depending on how you want to classify Louisville's D line, like real, legitimate defenses, and their O-line's gotten destroyed by Miami and Notre Dame. It's kind of what we thought would happen. I didn't think their D line would get destroyed as bad as it did, but line of scrimmage game, that was not close at all.
I think that's just the end of the rope of these the games, even though Georgia Tech is not at all on the same caliber of those other teams in terms of the quality of athlete, quality of player that you're dealing with. I think the stakes of these games just back to back to back to back might have been wearing on that team just a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree.
What are you smiling about?
I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to give him any more oxygen.
Oh, God.
Just a current thing that's on ESPN right now. Just a word that is on the screen is Pete Thamel's talking that has been on the screen on ESPN pretty much all day.
Rhymes with train and brain and...
No, I just don't think anybody in Bristol, Connecticut knows what the word imminent means.
Malachi Toney continues to be an absolute joy. When your season's on the line, why not give your best player 20 touches? 15 targets, 13 of them pulled in for 126 yards and a touchdown receiving. Got him 5 official carries recorded on the ledger, 2 pass attempts from Malachi Toney, 1 of them for a touchdown. So yeah, that was clearly a piece of the game plan. It continues to be a piece of the game plan, and it's super fun when really good young stars like that just continue to build and stack good experiences and good games. So that was fun.
So should the ACC rig this like the Big Ten did in 2020 to put Ohio State in? And granted, it's a COVID year, so a little bit different scenario. Or like the Big 12 last year. Remember when they clarified their conference championship stuff last year midseason?
Is it different? I mean, if you think about it, like ACC
it's a little
and COVID,
yeah.
The ACC and COVID are kind of one and the same. Like, if we're being honest about it.
But like at least the ACC teams all play the same number of games.
I mean, there's still time to do what's right if Jim Phillips has the courage. I don't know what to say.
I was very dismissive of this idea until this. There's a loss that's not being counted. We've got boxes of unchecked ballots. NC State beat that team. Now, I know it didn't count.
Yep.
But if we're actually going to talk about,
this is the stuff they don't want you to know.
We got to count the votes.
I was going to ask, going back to Malachi, spinning it forward, where is he at on like the preseason Heisman board next year?
I mean,
he's too high up there.
Oh, too high, sure.
A receiver in a crystal ball offense? Come on.
I know, but I'm just saying he's going to be up there as like one of the he will be the it boy of the Heisman talk over the offseason.
Are we sure he's going to be going into Jeremiah's final year of college football?
Right. Yeah. And wherever Coleman ends up playing, and
Jeremiah will be the favorite. Tony will be the hipster like pivot.
Oh, sure. Sub out Jacob Rodriguez, sub in Malachi Tony.
Yeah.
But a perfectly, and you know what? Perfectly fine name for us to celebrate. You could just talk about him as being a great football player, but if you have to call him a Heisman contender or a Heisman dark horse to talk about a cool football player, sure.
Are we sure JMU is getting in over Duke if Duke wins this?
I am
not sure.
I'm not sure either.
I do think I think it's like I had given them no chance. I'm well on the record with that. The fact that Duke was still somehow able to get to the ACC championship despite having 5 losses, JMU has a pulse. My concern is with, as Matt Zenitz phrased it earlier this evening, as with Bob Chesney being a, quote, person of interest for the UCLA job. How does the committee view James Madison if there's a chance that Chesney's going to UCLA?
Interesting. You know, we've had there have been like 6-6 Georgia Tech teams that have made the ACC championship game. A 5-loss team in the ACC championship is not new. We've been here before.
Oh yeah.
But the 5-loss champion, boy, that would be something else.
Did you see what the spread is?
No, please tell me, because I have to write
it's
a story.
Probably like 4.5 points.
It came out 3.5, got pounded all the way down to 2.5 already.
Yeah.
Came out Virginia.
3.5. Now it's down to Virginia 2.5.
Yeah.
Man.
I think it was Nathan in the chat who asked a minute ago, would you rather watch ACC football or have COVID?
I've done both at the same time. It was incredible.
I think everybody on the show has done it at the same time.
That we did have a point. Chris Hummer, our colleague, that introduced this factoid that I was very sad did not come home just because I thought it was interesting. But Rhett Lashley stealing playoff opportunity from both Manny Diaz and Mario Cristobal could have been rich, you know? But alas, Manny Diaz gets the last laugh. Here it is, Manny. You could be an ACC champion. All you have to do is beat Virginia. It's that simple. Virginia last in the ACC championship game in 2019. Duke last in the ACC championship game in 2013. Neither of them won in those games.
Question for you that actually I'm kind of stealing from the chat, but changing it up. So Nick in the chat says, does the committee leave Ole Miss out if he doesn't coach? Not a chance.
No.
Could that be the deciding factor of the Ole Miss Oklahoma thing?
Yes.
For the 8-9.
Yes. Very much so.
Now, they did beat Oklahoma by multiple scores in Norman.
Mm-hmm. But that was a different team. They had a coach then.
Florida
State was a different team before Jordan Travis got hurt.
But we haven't seen Ole Miss play without Lane Kiffin, remember?
True.
Jesus Christ.
Also, nobody was campaigning for how Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin is still just is a terrible team. They were actually campaigning that he should still be coaching in the game, even though he's taking another job.
I'm going to answer this very seriously and succinctly. If the Ole Miss Rebels, which defeated Oklahoma in Norman and who currently have an 11-1 record, are seated behind an Oklahoma team that is 10-2 and lost at home to that Ole Miss team, then it's just for shits and gigs.
But listen, we know that it is. So
right, but I'm just saying, like,
this committee would never put a team that lost
Patterson
to another team ahead of them in the rankings. Never.
I'm telling you, I don't think they'll do it. And I'm saying
Miami hosting a playoff game this year.
I'm saying if they do, then it's like it's not even something that I'm going to spend that much time trying to follow the logic on or care to, honestly. Okay, fine. Line it up and go. I mean, that's my whole thing about these weekly rankings when I've been comparing it to basketball is everybody bitches for 2 days about the basketball bracket. And then you know what happens?
We watch the game.
Game starts.
Right. Do you think that if Duke wins this, we will see some changes as to how these conferences decide who goes to their championship games?
Yes.
Yes.
So you don't think it's like optimal process to have NC State, UNC, and Boston College, Syracuse be the deciding factors for your conference opponent, like schedule strength?
No.
Okay, I would agree. Yeah,
I think you're far more. You know, you're probably going to see a lot more of conferences going to like head-to-head being the first tiebreaker, and then CFP ranking being the ranking.
There's a conference that does this, and I looked it up today, and I forgot.
It's one of the G5s, right? It was.
I think so. But some of the G5s also use computer rankings to determine this kind of stuff.
No, I think you will see with the sole goal of getting as many teams into the field as possible, they will go head-to-head and then CFP ranking.
All right, practically, you wouldn't get the CFP rankings until Tuesday.
I know.
So would you just use like common sense that Miami, the fact that they didn't lose is clearly like...
No, sorry, boys. Y'all are both doing prep.
But common sense doesn't, right? Like.
Well, you would have a good idea.
Obvious scenario, but like in other years, it would not.
You'd have a good idea based on the previous weeks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But like this year, it'd be very clear. In other years, that might not work. So you might have to go like some mishmash of computer ratings.
Because computer ratings would update. You wouldn't have to wait for the.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we have decided as a conference that our number one goal for structuring our championship race is to help our conference in the college football playoff, then yeah, I get rid of all this stuff because we just don't. I mean, Duke and SMU only have 2 common opponents.
Yeah, but they haven't been in the ACC together that long, so
I didn't know we did one season.
It takes a little while to get to know everybody. You know, it's like when you're the new kid at school. You got to give them a couple days to get acclimated. Maybe even a whole semester.
Yeah. Let's hit. Bud, you got a little muted. Are you unmuted now?
Oh, I was just saying we should not. Mute button, Bud, for sure. We should not have a conference championship for the ACC.
This year or ever?
Just ever.
Okay.
Nobody in that league deserves to be having the word champion attached to their name.
Like, when's the last time that you could not have acquired free tickets for this or tickets under the price of a beer?
Listen, the Charlotte Sports Convention, they do a great job. All right.
No doubt. I mean, shout out to Citrus Sports here in Orlando. We might get Texas, Michigan for the Cheez-It Bowl.
You'd have to be a damn fool to not want to spend a Saturday night in December outdoors in Charlotte.
Dude, it's always like cold and like still like wet, cold.
Wet. Yeah, why is it wet?
Yeah, wet. Right.
It's always like
fog next door.
Yeah, there's fog. It's always foggy. It's always cold. It's always wet.
It's always awful. Yeah.
Back
and I've been in a box for like half these, right? Like I'm still complaining about it. Yeah, it's.
And but before the college football playoff, they'd always have a whole bunch of oranges because the ACC champion would go to the Orange Bowl. So like these rocks that are frozen oranges are just getting hurled across the field.
The best thing I ever got out of the ACC championship game was one of the FSU years there. We got the story when I videoed the stenographer trying to like type Jimbo and he's speaking like a million miles a minute and like I interviewed her and that was like the most viral thing we did like the entire championship week. She's like, yeah, he's worse than an auctioneer. It's actually ridiculous.
All right, let's do another palate cleanser because we still haven't. We need to make sure we get like a good hard start time for Arch Manning, Texas college football playoff projections. Coming up on the other side, where will Arch Manning be in terms of the college football playoff bracket and more?
Next.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, where for a night, yes, at least just one night, the A&M stood for Arch and Manning. Yes, Manning coming up with some big plays as Texas pulls away for a 27-17 victory against the Aggies. And now Texas sits in a position where Steve Sarkisian can go on the politicking trail. Now, I don't need to, I didn't ask Mikey to clip anything. We don't need to like go back. You're a head football coach. You're politicking. Sure.
Mm-hmm. It's a great system.
Did Texas look good?
Defensively,
Weiser ran the ball okay. We'd seen that run game be really, really bad at times. Suspect at others. I thought it was a decent game for the Longhorns running the damn ball.
You remember Big Game Breakdown? We were like, oh, Sark says Hill's in. We were like, okay, that's inconsistent with what some of the stuff I think people were hearing. And he didn't play. So I thought their defense played really well with Hill being out. Obviously, their other backer was out for the first half. Like they held it together. How much is Marcel Reed's like getting banged up? Like he didn't look right. And I've never been like a big Marcel Reed guy, as our listeners know, but like he looked like a level below. He looked like a level below what he usually looks, though. Especially post injury. So I mean, the two picks at the end were pretty rough. Texas played really good defense, and A&M just allowed too many explosives.
Yeah, there's a part of me that wonders, like, if Stark remembers he has a run game in the first half, or at least he could run the ball, if maybe this wasn't a blowout. Because I do think that, like, in the first half, Texas was just throwing, and it was not good. Arch was not playing well. Then they finally realized maybe we should lean more on our run game, and all of a sudden they really started hitting those big plays in the second half, and the offense got humming, and they just looked so much better overall. So maybe if they start the game that way, it goes a lot differently. But, I mean, it was a good win for them. It keeps them in the conversation. I don't think that the results they needed today happened for them. Like, I still think they're very much facing an uphill battle. I think they needed like some certain teams to lose, and it just didn't happen. Although I guess Stanford could come back in the second half and beat Notre Dame. Who knows? But I don't know. It's
like if we had seen Auburn pull off the Iron Bowl upset, and if we had seen Oklahoma actually get beat instead of hitting the Satania easy button to be able to pull away with the win against LSU. Like if all of those dominoes had all fallen, then yeah, you'd all of a sudden find yourself a lot closer to number 10. And as we've been talking about, you get to the 10 spot in the committee's rankings. That's the target for all these at-large teams.
And the other side of this conversation is Texas A&M playing its first real opponent since like week 2. And they looked like a team that wasn't used to facing real opponents. Like they looked kind of stunned at times in this game when they were, going up against the Texas defense. Looked like, oh, wow, there are people that hit like that. I forgot. We haven't really had to deal with it much. So, yeah, it was a very bad timing. I showed you, Chip. I don't have the towel with me anymore. I gave it to my wife. It was a early Christmas gift. I got like the Marcel Reed Heisman campaign stuff promo package in the mail yesterday, like 10 minutes before this game kicked off. So the timing was.
Are we 0-2 now?
Yeah, because I got Haynes King the week before. So if you are an SID, I really appreciate that you keep me in mind.
But you will lose.
I would just say going forward, maybe think twice before you send me anything, because it does not typically work well.
And you live in like such a remote area of the country. It makes sense that like stuff takes months to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
You should move to a major city.
I should.
How far does A&M drop?
In playoff rankings or AP?
Playoff.
I think that they're outside the bye range, but I don't think they fall too far simply because this committee does still seem to be very hung up on the number of losses in the column.
I think they are having a conversation with Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech could surpass them. Although I would argue that Texas Tech doesn't have a win as good as Texas A&M's road win against Notre Dame.
I would agree with
you would be correct.
that. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
That win is doing a lot for them because Auburn didn't make a bowl. Mississippi State got crushed. Florida didn't make a bowl. Arkansas didn't make a bowl. LSU, again, lost. Missouri, kind of whatever. They beat Arkansas. South Carolina didn't make a bowl. Sanford, I don't know what the record is. Utah State won.
Mm-hmm.
Or covered.
And then also Texas Tech's loss is worse than Texas A&M's.
Texas Tech's loss. Yes.
Arizona State versus Texas. Yeah. So they might not drop past Texas Tech. It'll be interesting to see how the committee views them.
I don't know. See here, people who really have been getting into the selection committee stuff will actually talk about game control. Like some people who can really nail the projections, even going in week by week.
Mm-hmm.
According to ESPN's game control, Texas Tech's number 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been beating the piss out of teams.
Yeah.
Texas A&M's is not far off that, but I could see if Texas Tech dominates BYU in the Big 12 title game, well, shoot, if they do that, they're probably knocking on the door of a top 4 seed. Might not get it, but they'll at least be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Tech is in the conversation for a bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they beat BYU again next week, especially if they blow them out again, I don't know how you cannot give them one of the byes.
So that, I think, is how Texas A&M ends up in the final rankings, maybe pushed down a little bit, because Texas A&M can't do anything, and these other teams all have the ability to be able to improve their standing in the eyes of the committee. 13th data point, things of that nature.
I think they have to crush BYU, though. Like, if they squeak one out over BYU, I do not think they get a bye.
What about your answer to your question? Where do you think A&M goes?
Well, they're not going to drop below Notre Dame, right?
I don't think they're going to drop below Oklahoma or Alabama.
Oh, but oh my God, how funny would that be if they did? Like if the committee has Notre Dame ahead of both the teams it lost to?
They do have the really weak schedule within the SEC, right? Like we pointed out Ole Miss's schedule strength within conference being terrible, which is true. Obviously, A&M would say, yeah, well, we actually played Notre Dame. Ole Miss scheduled 4 cupcakes, right? So I don't think the committee's going to look that deeply into it. They probably, what are they, 6th, you think?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But that's,
depending on if Bama beats Georgia.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to – I don't think they are going to think too hard about this.
Agreed.
Loss sorter. Oh, okay. You used to have a 0. You are our 3rd-ranked 0-loss team. Now you've got a 1. Okay,
right.
Where do you fall among the 1-loss teams? Well, we like Georgia better. We like Oregon better. We like Ole Miss better. And then somewhere in there, I think is probably where Texas A&M falls. Something along those lines. Anything from the Aggies outside of, we mentioned it with Marcel Reed, the sort of cold water plunge of facing a team. Do Do you feel any different about their ability to win games in the playoff?
A little bit. Only because they are going to face better teams in the playoffs than they faced, in terms of like quality of athlete and caliber of team in all but 2 weeks. They really got the dregs of the SEC. They got Missouri when Missouri's quarterback was out. They played Mississippi State. They played a lot of like the really bad SEC teams. And the SEC has a lot of teams that were like 0-8, 1-7, 2-6 in conference, and A&M got most of them. Wisner got a lot of his runs when that D tackle for A&M went out. I forgot the kid's name, and it's obviously like 1 a.m. now. But are they thinner on the D line in the middle than we realize? Like I assume he's back, and it didn't seem like some catastrophic injury. But like the broadcast, I think did a nice job pointing it out. McElroy was like, "Oh, with him out, they're moving these guys quite well." And Texas offensive line has not been very good this year. So, Onadiam, I'm not saying his kid's name right. But I had that in notes, like, okay, maybe they're not quite as good on the interior past those first two guys.
So I've always looked at Texas A&M as like a Final Four team and not really a national title team. So my opinion hasn't changed.
I would mostly agree. I think if they play their fastball is good enough to win if they get the right matchups, I guess.
I think it's more difficult to get to the semis now that they won't have a bye.
I'm worried that one of the reasons I thought that they didn't have many weaknesses is because no one exposed their weaknesses.
That was part of it for sure. But I mean, like, if you looked at power ratings all year long, they've typically been in that like 5 to 8 range in most of them, even with their record.
Fair. I didn't have Texas A&M as like a top 3 team. Mm-hmm. I thought that the way that they were built made them potentially dangerous. Ooh, they can throw and they can run. Ooh, they've got a quarterback that can go on the move. They've got a dangerous pass rusher. Yeah, they're a little bit leaky on defense, but they can come up with big plays. Like I'd sort of built out the idea of the way it would look. I guess, Bud, to your point, the fastball, like on paper, if everybody plays well and they get some breaks, then it's a team that could go on a deep run. I don't think this game provided a ton except for a heat check on my expectations for what the Aggies will do, because every team they play in the playoff, most of the teams that they will play in the playoff will be a lot closer to the caliber that they faced on Friday night.
I don't want to like derail the show, and I do that at times. Jeremiah Love's Heisman odds are like plummeting. Is he out?
He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. He left the game with like some sort of like midsection injury.
He's back, but
he's 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I mean, obviously, he needed to have a huge game because Notre Dame doesn't play on championship weekend, and he's not having that so far. Okay. Like he went from 450 at kickoff to 1,600 now. So that's basically done. I thought it was done anyway. I didn't think he could really win it, but like not after the game saying had today. It's going to go to the winner of the Big Ten title game, I think, unless Pavia gets some kind of huge like Netflix push. But yeah, I noticed the change in odds there. Wanted to ask.
According to Matt Zenitz and 24/7 Sports, Ole Miss has a team meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
That's Central Time, right?
Should be.
And then they will have an announcement afterwards. Oh, whatever. Forget that. All right, let's talk more about football from today.
Uh-oh, Jim Nagy's mad at me.
Real Jim Nagy?
Yeah.
He tweets you?
He quote tweeted me because of my tweet that said the country. It's a joke tweet, by the way. This country needs to have a serious discussion about letting Oklahoma into the playoff. He quoted me with, quote, letting Oklahoma into the playoff. Show me a better resume. GTFOH. Jim, come on. Buddy, relax.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you know who isn't getting enough Heisman love? Fernando Mendoza. Have you seen this guy play football? Wow. A real good football player. Outstanding football player. I think he's going to have a good career. More people should talk about him. You know who else isn't getting enough Heisman love? Arch Manning. You see him run? Wow.
And also Emmett Johnson.
Emmett Johnson is
Who's
not
actually really good.
getting enough Heisman Trophy love, you know?
All right. Would you guys like to play a game with me?
Sure.
Would you like to rank in order Matt Rule's best Big Ten wins at Nebraska in 3 years? All right. So we have the choices are at Illinois in 23, Northwestern in 23,
the best he's ever had.
Purdue in 23. I tend to agree with you there, Tom. All right. And then at Purdue last year, Rutgers last year, Wisconsin last year. And then this year we have Michigan State at Maryland, Northwestern, and at UCLA.
I mean, it's
Illinois
unquestionably
win.
Illinois, yeah.
Northwestern's kind of a sneaky good one, though. I mean, not gonna lie,
Nah, anytime you can put like an Illinois pelt on the wall, you know you've done something.
Dude. They're close, though.
Have you seen the career wins in Memorial Stadium in Lincoln County?
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna hold on. I gotta find it.
Yeah.
Cody tweeted it. It was incredible. I hope Cody didn't tweet too much today, so it's easier to find. Come on, Cody, don't be on these Twitter streets, buddy. Here we go. Kirk Ferentz is 7-1 in Big Ten games at Memorial Stadium, Nebraska's Memorial Stadium, not to be confused with Geese Memorial Stadium in Champaign. Nebraska's last 3 head coaches combined are 18-26. Matt Rule is 6-8. Scott Frost is 6-11. Mike Riley is 6-7.
What's that Kirk Ferentz record in Nebraska Stadium again?
He has more wins, 7 in Memorial Stadium than Nebraska's last 3 head coaches. By the way, Bo Pelini was 12-4 in Big Ten games, not overall.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah.
No, that does not count beating Northwestern State, just Northwestern.
And in a weird way, I'm kind of like not bullish as that they're going to go win the Big Ten. I think they might have finally got some of the front office stuff right after like 2 full reorgs there. But I just don't think they're close. Credit to Iowa, though, dude.
Yeah.
Like, nice season for them. If they had an easier Big Ten schedule, they could, like, they're very.
They dodged Illinois.
A couple really close games from being a playoff team.
Iowa, Iowa's 8-4. It's like an ACC 10-2.
Yes.
Should
totally
Iowa
agree.
be in the ACC championship ahead of Duke?
Yes. You know, a lot of people aren't. You know who's not getting enough love for the Heisman Trophy? Mark Karnowski. What a way to battle. You know, rough start, a little bit banged up. Couldn't really get in rhythm with your new team with all the limitations of the off-season surgery. But man, just being gutty, just gutsy stuff there coming down the stretch.
This is not an insult, although I'm sure Iowa fans will take it as one. But it is just kind of a giggle. If you want to have a giggle, go compare Mark Gronowski's numbers to Navy quarterback Blake Horvath. You'll giggle.
Hey, Navy's got 9 wins.
That's what I'm saying. But they're an option offense.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Boston College Eagles. The sun is shining and we're still fighting. What's up, Trevor? 2-10 on the season, just 1 ACC win, but dadgummit 34-12. They had 0 FBS wins coming into today. Now they've got 1. Good job, Bill O'Brien and the Eagles. All right, what else from the notebook? What jumped out at you today?
Circling back to Miami real quick, do you think they do enough with that late score? Like, do they have a real path to get in now?
So,
I mean, other shows make this like the entirety of their show, like according to our chat. We really didn't debate it.
I don't think so. I think they're done.
They can't. All right, so here.
They needed results.
SMU losing for them is bad.
Yeah, they needed results that would help get them battling Notre Dame for the spot. And they
needed Texas to lose.
Yeah, they didn't get those results.
Yeah.
They needed Vanderbilt to lose. They could still get BYU out of the paint if BYU gets blasted. but they needed Alabama or Oklahoma. Yeah. I don't know if they got enough. I don't know if Miami or Vanderbilt had enough results go their way to clear the path.
The chat is asking, like, why would the late score matter? Well, because I think comparatively the committee could, in theory, look and say, okay, Notre Dame, who Miami beat, blasted Pitt by this. Miami beat them by this. Just like comparatively. We damn sure know if Miami had struggled against Pitt, committee says, oh, well, Notre Dame blasted those guys. Miami didn't get better over the course of the season. Notre Dame's a better team now. They're in. So beating them by what they did with the style points kind of at least wipes that argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Louisville won. Florida State got blasted. SMU lost to freaking Cal.
Yeah.
I think they're out.
I think it was a good win.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just now you look at, now that they beat Pitt, and this is the cruel irony of the way that this works. Pitt's not going to be ranked. So Miami doesn't have a single win over a team that's going to be ranked.
Right.
So, yeah, it's how the sport works. It's hilarious, the rankings and how much they matter. That little number.
Every single Saturday night, we like to spend a little bit of time talking about the college football rankings, specifically what we think the new AP Top 25 is going to look like on Sunday. It is tomorrow's Top 25. You can read it at cbssports.com. You can hear it right here on the Cover 3 podcast. So we discussed Texas A&M's landing spot. My prediction is that the AP voters will be a bit hesitant on the A&M side. Got them checking in at 6. Right there in that 6-7 Texas Tech range. The interest is how high can Texas get? Because the Longhorns have a head-to-head win against Vanderbilt. Ooh. And now that you've got this win against Texas A&M, you can really start jumping up into the, okay, well, I've got a win against Texas A&M and Oklahoma. What do you have? And BYU opens its pockets and just pulls out some CVS receipts. You're like, okay, well, let's talk. For the record, I do have BYU one spot ahead of Texas, but I do think that is what AP voters are going to be wrestling with right now. That even if there's a 1-loss or even a 2-loss difference, I could see Texas getting some love. My prediction is that they go from 16 to 12. Does that seem right to you?
So passing Michigan, passing Utah,
passing Vandy.
Does Vandy pass BYU?
No. I'm using the AP Top 25 poll where BYU was 11 last week.
Right. That's what I'm asking.
Vanderbilt was 12.
So
Miami
Texas is 12 right behind them, and Vandy's 13.
So they'd be jumping over Utah, Miami, Vanderbilt to land behind BYU.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, but they also beat the number 3 team in the country in a game everybody was watching because it was.
When we look at voting points, they were what, like over 200 voting points behind Miami and Vandy?
Oh, it's a big jump.
Damn it. Now's not the time to take small steps.
Yeah. I mean, it is truly, I mean, they are the cover photo, Bud. Like when we're saying, like, okay, what's going to be interesting? Like, I don't know, Jack, not a lot of stuff's moving, but hey, did you know that one of the most interesting and polarizing teams in America might be one of the biggest movers? Maybe that's the thing that we'll use to talk about here. Because I think that in addition to the Texas college football playoff discussion, which is not tied at all or specifically to the AP Top 25, but how do these teams stack up against each other? We'll hear from the 12 committee members on Tuesday night, but we'll get to hear from about 63, 64 AP voters in terms of where they think Texas will be. I think the high-low range on this will be massive.
I think it's pretty crap to jump Texas that high, to be honest. I'm not trying to like hot take this for clip it, but like you like played to the wire against a terrible Kentucky team. Florida walked you, Georgia killed you, and you also needed overtime against an awful Mississippi State team. I mean, like that. That's a lot of bad performances from Texas, in addition to the losses.
Were you not listening to Greg McElroy and Sean McDonough on the broadcast? They did not get crushed by Georgia. They were in that game, Bud.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
We're in that game. They had a chance. And that's, that Florida team, you look at their record, a lot of talent on that team, Bud. I don't know what game weren't you listening to? Come on. No, I tend to agree with Bud. That won't shock anybody. I've been on this train about Texas all for a month now. But yeah, no, I do think the AP voters will bump them up largely because it was against a top team and it was in a primetime Friday night spot that everybody was watching. And there's not a lot of games, if we're being blunt, where the majority of AP voters are watching.
That's fair.
Louisville, by the way, put that Kentucky team in absolute hell today.
They sure did.
Yeah.
But that's a really good Kentucky team, and you can beat them. Like, that's impressive unless you play in a different conference. But speaking of the propaganda hour, I do want to shout out BYU. Or did you guys see their tweet after their win?
Oh, they mocked Steve Sarkisian.
They said it would be a
disservice
disservice to the sport to keep us out of the playoff, using the same words that Sarkisian used to. For those who aren't familiar, Sarkisian played where?
At BYU.
At BYU.
Quarterback.
Yeah. So I thought that was great. Did not think BYU giving up 14 points off the bat to UCF was great, but that's a different story.
They outscored them 41-7 after the first quarter.
Yeah, I know. Also, just a quick amend. I meant earlier, Miami doesn't have a ranked win since beating Notre Dame, so get out of my mentions. I just misspoke. I know what I'm waking up to in the morning.
Okay. Further down in the ballot, I am not projecting much of a punishment of sorts for the Michigan Wolverines following the defeat. They are obviously a 9-3 team, but the hook here is that while they were ahead of USC prior to this game, a USC team that beat them handily 31-13, I do think that this loss does bring you back into that range where voters are just going to grab them and pin you two together. You know, we're just going to have you two hang out. You're probably going to be ahead of the James Madisons and the North Texases of the world, but you're not winning any arguments to be placed up there close to Utah. So that's sort of where that thing settles. Then we hit the G5 neighborhood where things are mostly the same. Turnover, including Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Pitt, and SMU dropping out. A host of a potpourri of perfectly fine teams checking in. Arizona probably near the front of that. 9-3 season for Brent Brennan. Good.
I'm glad you have them in and not Missouri.
Sir, I said 4 teams are dropping out.
You've got Missouri in there?
I got to listen. I had
Hold on.
Should be over Missouri.
Iowa is over. Iowa is in.
How many wins against winning teams does Missouri have? How many, Chip?
Again,
how many hats has Missouri
Chip is
won?
Projecting what the voters will do, which is scary because he's so good at this. But it is annoying.
No.
His bias is coming through loud and clear. He's mad at me for yelling at him during the Locks pod all day on Thursday. He's mad at me for the joke about nobody giving a shit about North Carolina. So he's keeping Illinois out of the projected top 25. They won the hat tonight, Chip. They've got multiple wins over teams with winning records. They might have a win over a playoff team if Duke beats Virginia, but hey, Missouri beat Central Arkansas.
You're Tom, like a lot of things, you're right about some, you're wrong about others. I don't give a shit about the North Carolina comment. You can dig in on that all day. Yeah, so I had SMU in there. The show started. I needed a quick replacement. So they were 20. Here's what I wrote from my blurb as we were in a commercial break. They were 28th in voting points in last week's balloting. They were just in the top 25 2 weeks ago. So if you're just scrambling to grab a team, it's possible that a 14-point road win against a 2-9 Arkansas or 2-10 Arkansas team might end up getting them in there. But no, Navy, Arizona, Iowa, there are teams that I think are ahead of them in the order to be able to get in, where, you know, we'll see what other late tweaks need to be added. I get one more after the Notre Dame game is done. I get one more final edit on this, but it's a mess down there. It is just a mess. But that's what
out of context.
Houston is not jumping back in, I assume.
No.
Right.
Yeah. But, Bud, those are the options we're talking about here.
Right. Well, Texas Tech fans in our chat are arguing for Houston, so their win over Houston looks better. But
God,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
Hmm.
That's That team was powered by
9-3. You're putting in these 8-4 teams ahead of them. They had a resounding win over Baylor today by 7. They absolutely smoked UCF a few weeks ago by 3.
I think South Florida's 9-3 is more impressive than Houston's 9-3.
I would agree. Wow. Big 12 fans will totally go nuts on you for this.
Here comes hipster G5, boy.
Honestly, it's close. I don't want to agree emphatically.
But that's
I see the argument. I don't disagree with it, but I don't know. I retract my I agree. I don't disagree.
Your retraction is rejected.
All right. As always, you can check out the most final update here at the end of the night, Sunday morning, whenever you're listening to this, over on CBSSports.com, projecting the new AP Top 25. All right, let's see what else before we get out of here. We got that team meeting coming up in about 8 hours. And at some point, we'll need to sleep.
It's imminent.
It's imminent.
The team meeting is imminent.
Clemson
beat South Carolina. Always great to you have a bad season, but you finish it with a win over your rival. It's fun. It's good. It gives you a nice feeling. Good for them.
Does Marty Smith sleep in the facility tonight?
Maybe. It's quite possible.
How does his hair look?
I'm not asking
up though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but honestly, I would.
There's no way he's gone to bed yet, right?
No. All the Red Bulls he was pounding, or the Celsiuses he's been pounding all day to do that. That man's gonna be up for at least another 5 hours.
I was gonna say that we might be in a quick nap in the SUV.
They gotta have nap pods there at Ole Miss, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great call.
I mean, I was just thinking
I want
about
to get in one of those.
Dude, I would go get a little like if I'm Marty, it's a little IV, some NAD, get a hyperbaric chamber real quick, nap pod. I'm looking. He always looks like perfect, right? So that there's got to be some method to madness here.
Gigi's just cut the heat on in the car before a Cotton Bowl one time when I just needed 45 minutes just to recharge. That's what I was imagining that Marty's all right, all I need is an hour and a half. Can you go cut the heat on in the Suburban outside? I'm just going to go hop in and get a quick nap, be ready to go.
Yeah. He looks dapper, but he's, he's from he grew up going to Va Tech games. That guy can rough it. I bet.
100%.
Yeah. They're going to need 2 reporters on this. Cause if he's in the facility, who's going to the airport? I'm going to need footage of this plane's landing.
I mean, maybe
also, if you're sending 2 planes, how big of a crew are you taking back with you?
Maybe Marty and Ross could work out a cross-platform deal. One follows them to the airport, one stays at the facility, and then they just share info.
The detail of 2 planes was curious.
Well, one's a decoy for some reason.
These aren't popes. We're not moving dignitaries here.
What was 2007 Dale Jr. watch?
Was that when he was switching teams?
Was that?
I think so, yeah, because the chat is pointing out that Marty was the guy in charge of covering the 2007 Dale Jr. watch.
If I had $1 for every time I saw the Anchorman Panda Watch Day 5 screenshot today, I would be a very rich man.
I DM'd him. I said, hey, do you sleep in the facility tonight, or how close is the hotel? Oh, he switched to Hendrick Motorsports. Okay.
Yeah. Virginia. Hey, Virginia did what they were supposed to do.
They did.
Yeah.
Taking care of business, quality football team.
94 minutes of Dragon teams that duffed it this weekend. Virginia had a win-and-in scenario, and they went and they took care of business against their biggest rival, won that thing by 20. There we go.
I mean,
yes, they did.
Some things do work out in that James Madison fans now get to root against Virginia, which really is not going to be hard for them to do.
Nope.
Oh, Chip, Stanford is close to entering the red zone.
He looked despondent on the sideline.
The important and interesting detail here, looking ahead to the ACC title game, is that these two teams played just 2 weeks ago, and the game sucked. It was 31-3 entering the fourth quarter.
And then Duke scored like 2 touchdowns late.
Charlotte Sports Commission's about to cut Chip's feed.
I said 2 weeks ago the game sucked. You never know what could happen.
You had some fog, some like not ice but kind of ice, and dude, we got a banger.
You know what we do when there's a rematch, Chip?
We
throw out the record books.
Yeah. We'll see what sort of adjustments can be made by both sides. Obviously, if you are Darian Mensah and the Duke offense, taking care of the football always is the lottery ticket of the day.
Don't get unlucky.
You take care of the football, you normally give yourself a good chance. If you don't, the self-inflicted wounds can mount. In the words of your own head coach, Manny Diaz, you can be the architects of your own demise. Anything else?
Great quote from Mario Cristobal today. They put on the Chiron during the game where it said there's no such thing as bad weather, only soft people. Just absolute banger of a quote.
It's true. Let's see.
What was I going to tell me?
I don't. Oh, Knowles?
Why? Jaden Baugh.
Jaden Baugh. I didn't watch. I did not. I true like not like, hey bud. Huh? Yeah, like I'm just like truly like I didn't watch the game. The score tracker was going.
I watched the whole thing. Liam's like, I think we might lose this. I was like, yeah, we're gonna lose this.
Well, I mean, you lost a game. I'm gonna lose my father.
That's right. He put his life savings.
He bet his life on this game. He put it all on the Knowles.
So I'm trying to kind of game this out, like for playoff. Well, yeah, like Ball ran all over them. FSU looked like a mess. I know some guys on the team want Norvell to stay. Some guys don't. Like they play like a team that's not really together. So if we get these like ACC champ plus G5 or 2 G5s in, is there an argument that you want to be the 6 seed instead of the 5 seed?
Because of the way the bracket will play out?
I'm trying to figure out like who's going to be the 3, who's going to be the 4. Like, I mean, this is just it's unusual to have 2 teams of this level in the playoff where they're going to be like 20-point dogs in the opening round at least, especially the G5 team. Like, would you rather be? You'd probably still rather be the 5, right? Because you don't have to play.
The 5 is either going to get James Madison or
Duke or
North Texas. Virginia could finish. Virginia is ranked ahead of North Texas right now. Virginia could win the ACC championship and get the 11.
Right. So, well, I guess here's the thing. You might want to be 6 if Ohio State wins the whole damn thing, or if they win the Big Ten title game and they're 1, you might want to be 6 because that means you are 1 round further away from having to play that team. If you think everybody else like 2 through 10 are roughly even, which I think on any given day they're pretty close power rating wise. I think you might want to be the 6 seed instead of the 5 seed.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So who winds up being the 5 seed?
I don't know.
Texas A&M or Oregon?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I still think
maybe Texas Tech.
There are only 4 teams that get to host a home game. I'm not so fearful of different seating. I think step 1, you just want to host a home game. We're going to have to play.
Right.
We want to have that thing at home. the environments for that were incredible last year, but we'll see. It'll be another piece of the math as we sharpen our focus on this college football playoff field. All right. What do we do? What are we doing? Are we back Monday? We doing this tomorrow for Lane? Probably.
If they screw around and don't if they delay this, the Santa Slayers do have practice at 2. So,
so
if we do this at like 10 a.m. Eastern time or like 11, we're good.
Got it.
2 to 3:30, not as good.
Do we want the latest update from our good friend Brett?
Yeah.
From Brett McMurphy? Lane Kiffin is, quote, essentially demanding to finish the season with Ole Miss while simultaneously threatening to poach, end quote, Ole Miss's roster and staff. If he can't, source told On3 Sports, quote, it's unfortunately gotten even messier than expected and emotions are high.
Yeah,
somebody's having a tantrum.
Peace out.
I think if you're Walker, if you're Walker Jones, you're like,
tell me when they announce the playoff. I'm out. This no sir. This is disgusting.
Is Florida going to get like very lucky for having missed out on Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather have Summerall. Although the way Florida fans are reacting to Summerall hire, it's
oh my god. I was with a couple of them tonight watching all the games. Like, guys, like these home run hires, they work out like less than half the time if you go back through it. The cost that you have to pay to get Lane there is exorbitant. It might really work. Most coaches work at LSU, but like the cost if it doesn't work is crippling.
I will say, now that I've gotten the toxicity out, now I'm just, free, clear mind here. What if he goes on a run with Ole Miss?
What do you mean?
What if they make it to the semifinals?
He's not going to be there.
No, I'm just saying.
Chip got Tom good.
What if they do let him coach the team through the rest of the season?
I don't think they're going to let him.
And while he's poaching the players, he's also leading those same players on this incredible run.
That would be incredible.
It would be. It would really defy believability.
I don't buy it.
I'm not selling it. I was just,
I think you're trying to sell me on it. You know who's really benefiting from all this, by the way? LSU. Not because of what they're going to end up with, but because nobody's talking about their process here. In that their governor got on his high horse about how we're not going to be held hostage by giving out these giant contracts with huge buyouts to coaches. And they're about to give Lane Kiffin $100 million. And I'm going to guess the buyout's going to be pretty significant on it. And also, you're literally coming off hiring a coach who felt like he hit his ceiling at his previous Power 4 gig and had a better shot to win national titles at your school, who you paid $50 million to go away. And now you're going to hire a coach who seems to believe he's hit his ceiling at another Power 4 school, who thinks he can come to LSU and win national titles there. It's like you're doing the same thing you just did. But Brian Kelly at least had been in the title game before.
Like if you're Sexton, you basically tell Lane, hey, that whole idea they were going to get out of the buyout by trying to imply that the AD and the board did not have authority to buy. Yeah, that's gone. They're going to pay him the full boat, by the way. Mm-hmm. And they also in implying that they had cause for him probably hurt his job prospects as well. So they're going to get a lot less on the mitigation. But the money's there for you, so we're good. I buy it. Sure.
It's going great.
Yeah. It undeniably will set up him as a main character of the entire damn sport going into 2026.
And that's really the goal.
And that's all he's wanted. So yeah, we will keep you updated as we continue to learn more. Yes, bud.
If you want a little more on this, if Bama had lost the Iron Bowl, is Do we think some of this divorce stuff was real for Penn State?
I don't know, but it was.
I kind of think no, but
I am very, very confident that Penn State has people in charge there who want to make a run at Kalen DeBoer if they felt he was available. I do not think that it was ever reciprocated, but there was.
That's where I'm at as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
but that's from stuff I had heard a couple weeks ago. Let it be floated.
There certainly was a lot of
other programs want you. Yeah,
there were a lot of eye emojis. Everyone's hitting the eye emojis these days. Like every single time Auburn scored a touchdown, and we're like, oh!
I'm gonna. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna tweet the eye emojis right now.
That's a good call.
Are you
Lane Kiffin to Penn State?
Okay.
Lincoln Riley to Alabama?
Everybody in the tailgate go retweeting like that. Let's get it out there. Let's get the people going.
Is Penn State watching the Big 12 championship game closely?
Is Penn State? Are you talking about Kalani Sitake?
Yeah, I got a couple DMs today. They were like, hey, what about Kalani Sitake in Penn State? I was like, I haven't thought about that at all. But like Penn State's been very quiet, so I don't know.
Yep. We will see. Come and join us. YouTube.com/cover3 for all the latest as we continue to wrap up this wild season. Yeah, 9 a.m. Central Time is the meeting. Okay. We'll unpack it as we learn more.
That's not a long meeting, by the way.
It should not be.
If he's going, Ole Miss is not letting him have like an hour-long kumbaya. I love you guys so much. Follow me to LSU meeting. Like, it's like, hey, enjoyed it. Peace.
Yeah.
If Ole Miss does it right, which that's an if.
It's an if. I'm just saying, what if? And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fornelli. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You can follow me at Chip _Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.